everyone. Welcome back to, this is episode 5, right?
I think so.
Yes,
yeah.
episode 5.
That's
Galaxy Podcast,
That's a
episode
good-
5.
Start again. Start the intro again.
No, it was fine. You kept like wasting my battery, man. Why would you waste my camera battery?
I love it.
Such a
already.
disaster.
I love it already.
It was fine, right? I'll put this in the bloopers. Oh my god, he's the clumsy one, you know.
So I'll let Baggy introduce him.
He's one of the most handsome guy,
Oh wow!
most fashioned, a good chef, amazing businessman, and a cyclist. Have to mention that because he rides bikes during winter times also, right?
Yes.
So please, we have Ridvan.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's nice to be here with two of my good friends here. And yeah, actually I came with bicycle here.
Oh, you
Yeah,
came with
so,
bicycle.
yes.
So cycling everywhere.
Cycling
Yeah,
Cycling everywhere. Well, thank you very much for having me. Yeah. So I think this is gonna be very interesting.
It's an honor
So,
to have
yeah.
you. So please tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do here?
I'm in the energy sector, a little bit more like oil and gas. Came to Mongolia 2012. And the gentleman on your right, I bumped into him actually. After 3 days, I bumped into him. Yeah.
Oh, when you like immediately when you bumped.
More or less immediately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then the rest is beautiful friendship, and then also like yourself also. But then I didn't stay in Mongolia very long. I left, but then I always kept my connection with Mongolia, business-wise, friends, and then came back again 2015. I would say since then it has been home more or less. Yeah.
But since you first came to Mongolia, it's been 11 years.
Yeah.
So how much has changed now? Since
A lot.
a lot.
A lot. Yeah, a lot actually. Yeah, I remember the day when we were driving from the airport to the city. The road was very bumpy.
Yes.
I mean, Mongolia made such a big progress in such a short time. When you're living here, maybe you don't realize. Even I tell this to my Mongolian friends, and then also the expats coming here. It's big change. Yeah, in many ways. Yeah. So.
Okay, so it's our signature question for every episode. We would like to start our main conversation with a question of why Mongolia?
Oh, very simple.
I mean, like tell us the journey that brought you to Mongolia.
All right.
Why did you
before
choose
and then
Yeah, I mean, for me, it has been a beautiful journey. Okay, to start with, I'm a geologist.
Oh,
I'm explorer, traveler, and I have been working all around the world. And then I usually go to the places where I want to be. Yeah, all right. And then I was in Tunisia on the beach, Mediterranean, enjoying beach life. And then what headhunter called me, he says, "Are you getting bored?" I said, "So what's this story?" And then he said, "I got an exciting country for you." I said, tell me the story. And then he said, no. First, you have to be, are you willing to move? I say, you say exciting country. If it's the right spot, I'm packing my stuff in 1 week.
oh,
And then it turned out to be Mongolia, actually. Yeah, I mean, Mongolia was, for me, it's not cliche, but even as a little kid, I was Boy Scout. I was into the dinosaurs. I knew about dinosaurs, and then adventure, Gobi, and so it just ticked all the boxes. And then for me, the business was also very interesting. This was a oil exploration project. I like to explore. It didn't take for me too long time
to decide.
And then I said, I can go biking there.
and also work at the same
Yeah,
time.
to work at the same time. No, it ticked all the boxes. I came, and it has been a very happy journey. Of course, it's up and down. Now, business-wise, if you're starting somewhere new, it's always challenges. So
Well, the oil and gas industry is kind of challenging in a way. I mean, you do have the relaxing side like Tunisia, but I
Yeah.
know like places like Saudi and Yemen
Yeah.
and all of
Yemen.
these things.
yes.
They're like, I heard the like crazy stories. Some of them you told me about.
Yeah. When I came to Mongolia, my mom said, I'm very happy for you, son.
Why is that?
No one is going to kidnap you. You're going to a beautiful country. She knew about the Mongolia. She said she can sleep, comfortably. No, because if you are working in oil and gas, you go to the places sometimes no one goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and beautiful countries, beautiful places, but it can be geopolitically challenging. It can be difficult regions. Usually, you could be one of the first person in the exploration to go, and then I think I was very happy personally. And then met, I remember, so I tried to get in touch with the people here, and then I said, I told them, as long as there are horse trails, I can ride my bike.
Yes, correct.
So I mean, this was a nice journey for me, also the career-wise, and then I always like to be in the, let's say we say play opener places. I mean, I can sit in Norway or in London, do the typical desk job. You have to be out in the field. And then Mongolia offers all this. Beautiful nature, good geology, good rocks. And then,
Nice.
so that was a nice journey.
So how many countries you've been to?
Oh, I have never counted actually, but a lot. And I spent quite a lot of my time. In my career, I started, of course, in Norway. I'm originally Turkish citizen, but was born in Turkey, but ended up in Norway. Also Norway became my second home, and then because of the oil and gas from there, I started there. They sent me to US and then to learn the oil business from the Texas boys also. And then the rest is basically, all around the world basically. But I spent quite a lot of time in North Africa. North Africa, it was Tunisia was one of the longest place I lived. Beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful country. I spent some time in Libya, and it's geopolitically hot regions, but people are
Very
always
nice,
amazing,
always
very
nice,
nice,
yeah.
always nice. I spent some time in Egypt also, and then Yemen, Iran, Emirates, and then traveling to a few other countries and in and out. So
There are a lot of hot countries,
Yeah,
warm countries.
Hot countries.
one extreme to the another extreme,
Yeah.
plus 50 to minus 50.
So,
That's really good. So in Mongolia, what brought you was it Petromatat?
Yeah,
right?
I came with Petromatat as their exploration, the manager. Later on, I became their CEO, and then around end of 2017, I left Petromatat and then opened my own company together with my colleagues in the oil and gas business.
Terra,
Terra. Terra. There are many Terras in the country.
Terra Explorer.
We are Terra Explorer. We are the explorers. And I mean, if we can contribute to Mongolia's energy, let's say sector, and in a sustainable way,
of course.
and then so that will be very good actually. But it's challenging, because it's a developing country in that sense.
So many people would not think that Mongolia actually has oil and gas. Like that industry is like they
it's new, right? It's something new here.
well, it's like in general they do have it, but like people don't think it
It's possible to like
because
produce.
of all the other mining.
I mean, look. I mean, if you look around, you have Russia, China. They have found the oil much earlier. You know, only when there's developing oil and gas explorers start to look into the countries when the easy oil is gone. Yeah, and now there is yes, there is definitely oil and gas in Mongolia, but it just didn't develop. It didn't go to the next stage, you know. And then you have to explore.
Yeah.
You know, you have to explore, and then of course the companies to come here. It requires lots of investment. You know, you take the risk. It's your own risk. You know. You bring the investment, you have to make sure the investors believe in your story, you know, and then you have to defend Mongolia. Yes.
At the same time.
At the same time, you know, you say, this is the country, it's gonna have the future, it's gonna be win-win situation, and so that's how it happens. And then hopefully it will go on the right track for Mongolia. And then, because Mongolia needs energy. Mongolia needs energy independence, you know. So, and I always compare Mongolia with Norway. Norway is a resource country. And Norway started in a little bit in a similar way. But Norway today is one of the richest countries in the world because they managed to use their natural resources in a very clever way.
Yeah, they got a national fund. Or
the sovereign fund. It's one of the biggest in the world.
And I see like countries like Qatar and Saudi and Emirates. They started kind of following the same principle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean the similarity is amazing. That's what struck me. You know, Mongolia, the weather is very harsh. I mean the nomads, the herders, they have a very tough life in the countryside. They struggle, but you know, with the weather conditions and then everything. In Norway, in the old days, it was the fishermen.
Yes,
the fishermen, you know, they sails out to the sea, rough sea, and then storms. They catch the fish, they bring. That was it, you know. And but then from that, the shipping industry, and then they developed their resources. And why not? Maybe one day Mongolia like Norway.
Yeah.
I mean, is it? It's like. I mean, we're touching a bit in politics and stuff, but not just like just a little bit.
Energy is always politics.
I assume.
Do you think Mongolia can? I mean, does Mongolia have a fund like what is it? What are they called? The technical name for it?
The kind of fund.
The sovereign fund. I think they don't have it yet, as far as I know. I think there has been attempts to. Even they met with you know, the different countries. Even I think basically even they visited Norway. I think to see and then how it's working and so on. I mean, Norway, again, Norway has a very good journey in that sense. And again, you know.
And they started this in the late 70s, early 80s. Not like they started it like, you know, 100 years ago or something.
No, I mean, 70s. It's late 70s. You know, that time, no one believed there was oil in Norway, offshore. It's offshore, basically. And then even there was one Norwegian head of the geological survey in Norway. He said, if there's any drop of oil, I will drink it.
That's how confident
exactly. I mean, it's you ask also, is there oil in Mongolia? Well, maybe, you know, you just need to explore. So it's gas also, same.
And that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So
and did he drink it?
And he couldn't handle.
So for people who don't know out there, what's the difference between like gas and oil? I mean, other than the logical difference.
Yeah.
But in terms of like finding and exploring it, usually is there a layer of oil and then gas on top of it?
Yeah, well, sometimes you have if you are looking at traditional sense, because oil is heavier, you know, you have the oil, water, and gas on top. But sometimes you just have gas, you know, depending on the geology. But in Mongolia, I think the focus now is to find gas from the coal.
Okay.
Yeah, so you drill and then you, because you have plenty of coal resources in Mongolia. I mean,
Surely there's a gas.
and you know, I mean, there are companies who are exploring now. They have successfully explored. They found the gas, but they have to prove the commerciality of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's something there, if it's not commercial, you can't develop.
Yeah, it's kind of that same balance between is it going to make money if we actually go and dig and get it out?
Yeah, and also it has to fit into your, you know, the policies. It has to be, you know, it's whole sequence of, let's say the things should, you have to tick the box, you know. So no, I mean, maybe one day. Yeah.
So coming here and establishing the, like, you know, working with Petrometat and then establishing your own business, what was the challenges like you faced from a non-technical way, let's say?
Okay, for me personally, just working in different countries, different cultures, you know, so you're ready to accept the differences. You know, this is very important. You can't come to any country, not only Mongolia, but it can be any country you go. You can't go there, I'm going to have exactly what I have in UK, in Norway. I want the system to be working like this. It doesn't work like that. I mean,
So your mindset should be prepared.
Your mindset should be prepared, and if you don't have this, and then you look at how I can improve the things, how I can, you know, what can be better for business-wise, also for win-win situation. If you want to adopt exactly what you had before, it may not work. Yeah, you know, and each country is different. There is a geopolitical reality, cultural difference, the way people work, and yeah, there is a reality on the ground. You have to take this into the consideration.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just come here and then I'm foodie, and then if you don't explore the you know, the local, let's say the cuisine, you can't, you know, to bring all the goodies from wherever you're coming, you know, that's lost case. You know? So yeah, I mean, I think if you are coming from let's say the industrially developed countries into a developing country, and then if you are not ready to accept the differences, but how you're gonna implement the you know, the business, you will fail. You will fail, and then you can't blame the local, you know, the country where you're in. It could be your fault also. So
I mean, you can't expect people to change their own ways, and you have to adapt to it.
But I think in Mongolia the challenge is human resources. Yeah, I think because some of the sectors requires you have the people already trained, the engineers and so on. For example, in Mongolia we find excellent geologists. You know, but it's very difficult to find the geophysicist or petroleum engineers or drilling engineers.
Is like what's the difference?
The geophysicists actually they deal in oil and gas sector with the seismic and the interpretation, the processing, and then because for the geologists, natural laboratory, everything is there. but for the geophysics, for the drilling and so on, so engineers, especially in this sector, you need to go to the another level.
Yeah,
and that education is very important. I mean, you have to invest into the education. You have to train. Well, Mongolian technical universities, I mean, they are doing very good actually now.
Yeah.
Usually the people who graduate from there, they also go to abroad, they get their master's degree and then come back. It's the same thing in Norway, you know, or in Turkey, and the UK also, even.
So I was talking to some of the guys from, like some of the guys from OT, and usually the senior management, especially the let's say foreign senior management, they said to me, like, the biggest issue is there's no tradesmen, like practical electrical engineers that go, you know, do the thing, or the drivers for these machines, or kind of like fabrication experts. They said there's a lack of that in Mongolia. You have a lot of people who are designers, like with master's degrees and PhDs, who sit behind a computer and design, but unfortunately,
like mechanical person.
Unfortunately, Mongolia, you know, I hear that a lot actually, not from just one person. Mongolia needs someone to like fold their sleeves and actually go and do the work with their hand.
Yeah, what they call vocational schools. I mean, after that's very common, like in Germany and several other countries.
Australia, UK.
I mean, you need such also the technicians, and so yes, it could be a problem actually. Yeah, so.
But you know, like Mongolia was in the 80s and stuff, right? So Mongolia is more of an industrial country with like a lot of engineers, and they were like, you know, putting their efforts to like, you know, produce more engineers and like, you know, industry, factory workers, staffs. But then during the, obviously the democratic happened, and then everything changed from that. And then probably from the year of 2000s, from 90s and 2000s, people started going to commercials, like, you know, sales, trades.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, where it started of like, you know, lacking real engineers and mechanical people, I think.
So, I mean, what could be the solution? Because Mongolia's main industry is the mining industry and
well, I mean, not only mining resource is part, but then you have also you know, you have huge piece of land, you know, and then that can be also utilized if you solve the energy part of it. I mean, because Mongolian soil in certain parts of Mongolia is very fertile. I mean, so, and this can, but the solution to this, I think, like in countries, resource-rich countries. Mongolia is a resource-rich country. Yeah, it requires the whole process from the education system, and then, but the education should fit into to a resource-rich country.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, not only for you know, the mining, but then also you have the cattle, agriculture. And then you have to think like this also, you know. So, and education is going to be very important, but the practical side of it, but the people who graduate from the, you know, the colleges or vocational schools, they should have jobs. You know, this is important.
At the end.
I think countries like Australia, and we used to have this in the UK, but it's not as big now. But I think in countries like Germany, they have it. Countries like Australia, where you have vocational training, so you get paid to actually study. Like partly you have a placement, and partly you're actually studying.
Yes.
And you're getting paid working while learning. Apprenticeship. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for.
Yes.
So let's enough with the professional questions for now. You have is like like, storming with all these questions
mean,
and not giving me any gap. He prepared some questions this time on this episode.
I did.
And he's so happy for it.
I did.
He would like to ask everything in one.
Yeah.
So we would like to ask you about, what do you see in Mongolia, like when you go out? What is your lifestyle in Mongolia, other than work, right? What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do in your free time?
No, I mean, as I said, I'm an outdoor person. Yeah, I really appreciate this. One of the things that really attracted me about Mongolia, the freedom being out in the nature. Yeah, I mean, we are so lucky. I mean, so this, I do mountain biking. Yeah, I mean, I have been doing mountain biking many years, and then for me, the being out there in the nature, and but then as I said, I'm not joking. Wherever the horses go, you can ride or carry your bike. So this is a big blessing for us.
So what was the longest trip you ever did by bike? Like,
I mean, you mean in Mongolia?
Yeah.
In Mongolia, I did multi-days bikepacking type of trips, and then so this can sometimes a day you can cover maybe 100K. Wow. Yeah, but these are mostly dirt roads, off-road, and so. But during the weekend, probably I can do, like Sunday, I did about maybe 30K, and then I went to Bogtown and nice trails, and this is blessing. I mean, you can imagine.
You're living in the city and you can mountain bike.
Yeah, in 20 minutes you go to the beautiful. Imagine doing this in London.
You can't.
You can. I mean, you have to take the train. You have to find when the train is gonna take your bicycle. You have to buy the ticket in advance. I mean, we don't realize this, but this is how it is here, And so for me, this is this, and then of course we go if the weather. I say the weather doesn't matter. It's winter, summer, as long as
you do cycle in winter.
In winter,
I do.
In the river, I saw like
when I first met Ridvan, right, and then we became friends on Facebook, and then I see him like cycling in the winter on the mountain, like with the jackets on, with snow and snow covered his beard, and I'm like, oh my god, this dude is crazy.
Yeah, people think like that. No, but I mean, it's they say it's not the weather, how you dress up, how you layer up, actually. Yeah. So that's the thing. So no, I mean, we are very lucky. I really enjoy that also. Because of my work also, I go to the countryside, spend time in Gobi Altai, in Gobi and all the other places. It's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. And also, of course, I like to cook. Yes,
I was about to ask about it. You're a foodie, so and when did you start cooking? When did you become addicted to cooking?
Oh, it was in our.
You're an amazing cook. I saw.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean it was in our family. Mom and dad, they were always. We spent all our time in the kitchen.
Oh.
So
that's where the family gatherings.
Yes, family gatherings, and then whenever my friends came, we always went to kitchen right away. And. Mom and dad, they got their specialty. Sometimes they ask you, oh, you want to help me? And then you learn. That's how it started, actually. And
This was in Turkey or in Norway?
Turkey.
Oh, okay.
In Turkey,
growing up,
Turkey is also a country with a lot of rich food, right?
Yeah. Amazing food,
Culinary,
amazing cuisine from different areas.
And everything is accessible. You have the fish, you have the meat, the veggies. It's more like in our place where like the mom and dad, they like living they had to have a small piece of garden always, They used to, they grow some of their veggies, and then my grannies, they are from Mediterranean part, Mediterranean Sea. I mean, we grew up with the farms, with the the gardens, yeah. So it developed like that. You
You
know.
were close in the nature from your childhood.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, I mean, we used to go hunt. The first time, I went hunting. My granddad took me to hunting.
Oh.
And then 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, hunting.
That's
I
a
mean,
tough grandpa.
Yeah. I learned a lot from him. So I'm thankful to him because of him, who I am, being in the nature and so on. Yeah. I think that's part of the whole thing, you know. And then you travel around the world, you experience the different cultures with their food, and because food is an identity, you know, and food has a story. And then when you eat something, it's not just something you're eating. There is, long story behind before it ends up on your table, and you have to respect it also, you know. So if you have...
So you're very known here, very famous for your dinner parties.
Yeah.
I like the code. Yeah.
So is there any specific, like, let's say Mongolian dishes that you kind of adapt to your own flavor
And then remixed it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Booze, with what I had my own touch with the sauces on the side. Yes. And then hushur also. Hushur, I make them with spinach and feta cheese.
Oh,
Nice.
It's a Mediterranean.
Yes. And then I remember once I made this, the hushur to the friends, they couldn't believe. I said, I use your recipe, and then from the scratch actually, and then I put a little bit Mediterranean touch in it, you know.
Nice.
I was invited to one of his dinner. I still haven't get a chance to he invited me a couple of times though.
Yeah.
I wish I would.
There
will be one
anytime.
day.
Sure.
You have to go because going to one of Ridvan's dinner parties, it's not just the food and the nice atmosphere and the drinks. It's like the social aspect of it. You get to meet very interesting people. And
Probably
new guests on the podcast.
Maybe why not?
No, I mean food connects people.
And, I actually wanted to ask you about this. Is there like any kind of a social event that you did that made it switch to kind of having a professional side out of it? Because I know these social things can actually bring people together, people get to know each other, and something can come out of them from a professional side.
Well, I mean, always friends try to flip my arm to go into that direction also, but I think being in hospitality business, and it's very tough job. When you do it as hobby, but once it gets into the professional side, I mean, you have to be there. I mean, in this, because it's not something you're doing for business, but it's more like it's your passion, and it takes your time. I mean, 24 hours, you know. And it can be done,
but not even in terms of just meeting random people that you meet them and suddenly you're making something in the oil and gas industry or.
It can develop into the usually. Sometimes they say if you get around the dinner table, if you share drinks and food, something good comes out of it.
So doesn't into these dinner parties, a stranger comes to your party?
Friends come.
Like friends.
I mean, so anyone is welcome as long as they are friends. You know.
You come plus one. plus one.
Plus one, and because it's again, you make the food, and then you share, and then conversations develop, and then and it's because especially in the in Mediterranean, I say Mediterranean lifestyle in Middle East, in many of the countries in the region, food connects people. I'm like in Spain, you can't finalize the deal without the dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta do a dinner. You know, you
So
got the.
it became like a tradition.
I mean, you go out, you talk to business, and then we'll say, okay, let's go on dinner to talk serious business now. And then serious business, and maybe not around the table, you know, in the office, but then it happens there, you know.
The decisions are made there.
Decisions are made there. Maybe people are a little bit more relaxed, you know, and then of course you go back to the office, you do the business part, but that's part of the culture.
How do you think in Mongolia they do business? While eating or while drinking?
Drinking. No, I mean, I see in a way, like if you go to the countryside, the herder family calls you know, and then their hospitality is amazing. You know, they invite you, whatever they want to share with you. It's the same thing there also, you know. They offer you with their, you know, the milk tea, but you know, milk tea is just starting, and vodka is gonna come at some point.
It's gonna come in some point.
I can't do vodka, but it's a, you know, you have to follow the rituals, and then yeah. Oh, it's the same thing. Maybe you don't see it in UV or in the bigger cities in Mongolia, but I mean, it's amazing. I have seen amazing people, so welcoming. In one case, actually, this is a biking trip. Then we went to the Princess Temple. On there.
Up in Terra, right?
Yeah, we started from Terra. We are on our mountain bikes. One of my friends said, there's a camp there, you know, and then we stay at the camp, and then we go right up to Princess Temple. We came, there's only one gear. There's no camp. There's this guard and his family, and then
How many of you were there?
no, we were actually 6, 7 of us,
Oh.
8 of us. But I had my tent. I always carry my little tent, you know. And they didn't have tent. And then everyone is thinking, and suddenly I see my Mongolian friends, you know, talking to the guy. And then basically the guy told them, the camp is gone. Camp is dismantled, gone, but I am staying here. So he said, you guys take my gear. He had 2 kids, wife, and then, you know, he left his home to us. And then he says, I'm going to go to my brother's place, which is about 20 kilometers, on a motorcycle. He put his family on the motorcycle, and then he just left everything. The food and everything, this was amazing. Yeah. And then later on at night he came with his nice Dell, you know, beautifully dressed up, and then of course he brought the additional food, he brought drinks. It was amazing. I mean, can you imagine this happening in Germany or in UK? No, this doesn't happen, you know. This is the human thing, you know. I'm this beautiful. I think the countries develop in a industrial sense, but their human factor doesn't develop.
Yeah,
this is still
there. The core is still there. The humanity.
This is richness.
Yeah.
This is rich. Yeah. I mean, maybe not you know, the materially, but this is much more important than being rich in other sense. You know?
That is the key thing, because, for example, this story touched you. Like for this guy, you'll never forget that.
No,
You'll carry that with you for a long time. You know?
It stays. I mean, but I mean, if you just stay in UB, if you don't move around, you will never experience this. I mean, then there are expats come here, either they work short-time assignment, long-term assignments, and then sometimes we sit around the table. Our conversations a little bit different, you know, because you know, it's for some of them, unfortunately, life is just UB, you know. And
well, some of them just are in and out. Some I know some people who probably been in Mongolia for like a good 4 or 5 years, but they just go to the camp, come out, fly out, and do this, repeat, and they don't know anything about Mongolia.
No. I mean,
You mean expats?
Expats, yeah,
Yeah.
like especially in the OT.
Oh yeah. They
that's
don't get to have a chance to.
They
like,
don't get
go
to have
around.
a chance, and it's a little bit sad on that way because they have an experience in the country, but they don't really see the country.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question that, like, you have mentioned in on the first episode with Craig. So how do you manage your friends here, like foreign friends, like expat friends? Like he
How-
told me,
how
like
to-
he told me on the first episode, like, okay, I'm enough with this 5 years Denver friends.
No, I mean, my friends are probably I have more Mongolian friends than the expats because I'm not here for a short term, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you come just for a short time, maybe it takes time to establish relationships, you know. But if you are here longer period, you naturally you end up having more local friends. I mean, but you have to be open-minded. I mean, you have to. When I say open-minded, it's more like again, wherever you're coming from, you cannot try to implement it here. You know.
Yeah.
So and then
Again, right?
Again, yeah, and then no, I mean seriously, as a guest here, I get tired of people complaining. The
Foreigners.
foreigners,
Yeah.
you know, why don't we have this? Why this is happening? And then sometimes I just leave. You know, nobody's putting the gun on your head.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, leave. Why are you here?
Exactly. Why-
Straightforward.
Yeah, no, I sometimes I have these discussions. No, of course. I mean, the life can be different, challenging in different ways, but it's the expectation, you know. I think wherever the country you go, there are a couple of different types of people who end up in if you are living your, let's say, the home country, start to traveling, that's a good start.
Yeah.
But some people, it's not their choice. Somebody tells them either work-wise or relationship-wise, maybe.
So they bring their own
Maybe.
country with them.
Yes. It's different. Yeah. So no, I'm very happy having this balance, you know, the friendship and yeah.
So for me, my rule is like Baggy said. I ask people how long are you staying in Mongolia. If they say anything less than 3-4 years, I'm like, nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet
Bye-bye.
you. Yeah. No, but this is kind of wherever you go, it applies actually.
Yeah.
Not only in Mongolia, but it applies. Yeah. But some of us are lucky we adopted this more global attitude, you know, and accepting the differences, and then but also at the same time, if you can contribute, whether it's the food culture, it's whatever business, you know, it has to be a kind of integration there.
Yeah.
So,
I gotta ask, like, one thing I know from Ridvan was like, one of my dreams, like when I was a kid, was like watching all these Western movies, and then like finding out there's like these basement jazz clubs, right? That you go to.
Oh, yeah.
And then I always wanted Mongolia to have one of that. And then finally I knew that there's a place called Fat Cat. And I brought I took my wife on a first date to that place.
I remember that
And then
day.
I found out that Ridvan was actually one of the crowdfunders of
Yes,
this place.
yes.
And then it was so amazing. He was,
Yeah.
he's in love with music so much. And then he's passionate about art, food, like
Jazz.
like.
I
Tell me about this.
No, I mean the jazz Fat Cats has amazing journey. Yeah, it's in my opinion in the region, like the Hong Kong, Shanghai, Beijing, Singapore, Seoul, among the top 10 underground jazz clubs. Well, thanks to our musician friends.
Well,
and,
just a shout out to Jojo. So like,
Jojo, Congar, yeah, so
Congar.
yeah, and they are the ones actually. And then, Fat Cats belongs to the musicians. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
it's musicians' place, and they are young in terms of their career, but they made such a good progress actually, and then it's a place you go and then you enjoy the music, the ambience, and then there's a diversity there also.
Big diversity. Also, Martin.
Martin Zenke. Yeah, I mean, he's also it's also his blood and sweat. He contributed a lot to this. Yeah. And there was actually the Goethe Institute. In the early days, the jazz musicians, didn't have venues, proper venues.
Yes.
Of course, we had the UB Jazz Club that time, but these were younger
But it was
jazz.
more of
That one is more of
live music place, not
it's live
really
music, but
jazz.
it's more of an older generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember we used to organize some private events for this Jazz Train was the first name of the group, the Jazz Train.
Ah, this is the train that goes all the way to Seling and.
Oh, I mean the name they adopted the name, but the Jazz Train is also goes back to the jazz times, way back in the States.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And the group was Jazz Train. I mean, they used to come and then play we organize events for them in the restaurants at my home.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They did the gigs, but now it's so proud of them. You know, Mongolia should be proud of them.
Yeah.
Some of them in Germany, they are doing touring, and then they became very well recognized jazz musicians. I hope they are not all gonna leave.
Yeah, I hope not. The culture needs
Germany
to grow
shouldn't
here.
steal all of them.
Yeah. The culture needs to grow here.
Yeah.
So have you ever did something by bringing everybody out somewhere and doing cycling and jazz and food?
Yeah, I mean, food parts we did actually. Yeah, not with the director with the jazz, but the cycling and the food and then combination, it goes very well.
Nice.
Yes.
So how did this crowdfunding start? To begin with,
I think
whose idea was this?
in their case, actually, the Dulgun, he is in the States now, and Kongor, into two musicians basically. Dulgun is Magnolia, the band.
Oh,
Magnolia,
yes.
and then Kongor, and then because that time they needed a venue where the musicians home, and then we were talking with I think among the community who loves jazz, everyone is saying, you guys need the venue, But these two, the jazz musicians took the initiative, and then they approached us, we promoted, and suddenly there were about 20, 30 people. They contributed because they had a proper plan, I mean,
Trustworthy
business,
plan.
business plan. That's how they are gonna do it, and then so that was very professional. I mean, they had their brochure, how they are gonna face out, and then so on, and that's how it started. In the beginning, it started as just pure jazz classics, but then of course music depends on your mood. You can't listen jazz all the time. Sometimes you're in the funk mood.
Yes, exactly.
Or rock. And then they adopted this, still a jazz club. But then sometimes beautiful blues, they play the blues. And
they even played Latin jazz.
Yes. So,
and they also brought multiple artists from abroad, right? A couple of times,
I mean, last when was it? 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were all here. They from all around the world. They came. EU actually. It was a EU funded project. They ended up in Yeri at Eric's camp.
Oh wow!
I went there just to be there. This 20 of the musicians. with the Mongolian nature,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I asked them, what do you feel? They said, we never experienced like this. One saxophonist next to the Saleng River doing his solo. The other one is in the another corner. It was amazing, you know.
So just to say, Eric's camp is you could talk a little bit about it. Just shout out. It's is it Norwegian?
Norwegian, yeah.
Norwegian camp in Saleng.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, talking about, if you want to have something for podcast, he has a beautiful story how he ended up in Mongolia. He could be one of your next guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
So he run this camp.
That's his camp. He came to Mongolia with horse riding trip and went here 1,000 kilometers and then when passing through, he says, well, like who attracts Mongolia, you know? And then he left everything, what he was doing, and then he believed in Mongolia. He started working on this camp. I mean, he's one of the persons also coming here as a foreigner, but making home and believing and trying to do business also. But it wasn't easy in tourism business.
Of, the challenges of COVID.
COVID time, you know.
It started during COVID. Okay.
But now it's very
Picking
nice.
up there. I want to go.
gotta
and
see
have
that
a
place.
Norwegian sauna.
Oh yes.
Oh, it has a sauna also.
Yeah.
It's open year round, so even in winter.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice.
Let's do a food weekend there.
should
Yeah. And the bikes included.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I have a terrible imagination about Ihab riding a bike.
I mean, Ihab can dance. If he can dance,
He can dance.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait. Do you want to know something? I'll tell you something very interesting. For 4 years, back home in London, I used to cycle to work because traffic is really bad.
yes.
So
It's worse than Mongolia.
I was cycling every day back and forth to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buggy.
I think you need to go to England for a couple of months.
I mean, if you have seen Ihab's dancing,
I've seen him.
I mean,
That's where I met him
that
first.
moves. Me too.
Yeah. I'm like, I was like, holy crap. Like, he can really dance.
But actually, it took me for a while that I discovered Ihab was in IT business. I thought he's he's the guy setting, Latino, doing this, the introducing Latino dancing culture. And then I remember, was it during that time our company was asking for IT services. Ihab says, I'm gonna go for this. Yeah, that was Ihab's company. I said, it was amazing. It's the beauty of thing,
And then he goes, I thought you were the coach.
Yeah, I said, oh, you're the guy with the Latino
Event.
events.
One of the funniest stories. I was invited to one of these diplomatic events for one of special days or whatever. I can't remember exactly what, but I had a friend of mine who knows me from salsa. But I'm there, like giving my business card, like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. I have an IT business, and I'm like talking to people, and he comes and says, "This guy is a salsa teacher." I'm here, trying to promote my company, my dance skills.
No, but I mean, it's amazing. That's how I met him, and then I thought. And I said, oh, wow, this is cool, actually. It took a while. Well, after maybe a couple of months, actually.
Yeah. Because I was doing many events, a lot of people used to sing. I was doing also expat drinks.
Yes.
That was a very good event.
Yeah, that was a really good event, actually.
I mean, that was actually, it was very nice, social.
Yeah.
That's also in a way, social connecting, but also you do the business talks in a very relaxed environment.
Yeah.
It was in the Central Tower.
Central Tower, 17th floor.
17. Yeah.
And then he would give this, lucky draw, this one
Yeah,
bottle of wine.
Business cards.
Yes. Oh,
So
that was.
I actually till now I think I have a database of over 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Which almost 3,000 of them left. And then 3,000 people, I literally broke Ihab's heart.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, but life is great here.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right? If we met on like probably for me when I first met Ridvan in his like food party, I wouldn't expect him to be like a businessman.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were a chef.
No, I mean, lots of people still think like that.
Oh, really?
yeah. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
And then actually, I tell you, I think it was Instagram or something. Somebody sent me a message. It's Rocky's Step Back Kitchen. That's
Yeah.
what I say. Says, can I book a table? And then I'm looking at. I say, sorry, you have to be faster. All the tables are booked at less than 2 months.
It's pre-booked.
It's pre-booked.
Yeah, no, but I think it's beautiful. That means we are enjoying our life on our business side, and then if you don't have this balance, you can't do business. And
You need to learn to relax and
Yes.
like be chill, like
yes,
without the business side, right?
yeah, it's important. Yeah,
So a lot of people usually ask me like, why are you not in back in the UK? And I usually say to them, the lifestyle here is a little bit better because you can't really have a work-life balance while
yes.
It's always rushing.
It's always rushing. It's, is it the same in Norway or? Is it
No, Norway is more relaxed, but I live kind of in London also, and London life can be very hectic.
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine. My office was near Leicester Square, near Piccadilly. I mean, just walking from Green Park to Leicester Square during the rush hour I mean the people like robots.
Yes.
Actually, it's unbearable. I mean,
It's just too much. I know exactly what you're saying. Too many people, especially if you cross Oxford Street and regions.
Yes.
All of this area.
yeah. I mean that's why I say. The countries like Mongolia also offers with the nature, with the everything. We have to appreciate this. I mean, you have to put in this perspective also. Norway, it's more relaxed also. Norway, you go to the mountains, and it's only close to 3.74 million people in Norway, and then it's almost the same population. And then, but from London, actually, I used to go to Norway to relax. Go into the mountains, the nature, or go to Scotland. So but here again, lucky, next door.
Next door.
Lucky next 20 km out of UB.
Yes.
And so, how do you do you have any tips for people to survive winter here, especially like non-tourists, like expats who are coming new?
New expats. You mean.
New expats.
The old expats already figured out.
Yeah.
Well, some of them still struggling. Yeah.
Well,
Yet
people
he's cycling in winter.
People still complain about living here.
Buy cashmere. Use cashmere. Use cashmere underwear.
Exactly. Best in the world.
Buy cashmere underwear. Why aren't they doing cashmere underwear? Kobe brand, you got your next product.
Cashmere is the thing. No, I'm not kidding. Actually, it's the cashmere is very good. The if you layer up with the underwear.
Very good underwear.
No, when I'm biking, I always use cashmere. The long johns.
Like
I mean so it's amazing. So no, I mean I think during the winter time, first of all, you have to know how you're gonna layer up.
It's very important.
It's very important.
The thing is, people sometimes don't understand that Mongolia is a very dry country.
Yes.
So layering up here is different from layering up, let's say, in Europe. Or
Imagine, like, I had this was like one of the very interesting experiences when I was in India, right? And then I left to India in 2010. And then that year, someone that literally died freezing in India.
Oh, wow.
And then like a Mongolian, like our locals, I saw like my friends are texting me like haha, like are you about to die and stuff. I'm like, but they don't really understand that it's a humid humid weather, and then in the evening time when the temperature drops around 10 or 15, it's really cold actually. It's really really cold. And then I lived in a city called Bangalore. Bangalore is like more like a Mongolian summer. It's fine. It's not that hot, but Delhi is like really hot. And then I landed in Delhi and it was like plus 40, right, already. And in the evening, I was freezing. When I look at the temperature, it was like 15, but it was really cold. I had to wear a jacket. And this is a different situation, right? And then whatever you wear, you would be like feeling cold from the inside. Like you would feel it in your bone. But in Mongolia, you will not feel it in your bone because it's dry. You would feel it on your skin.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah, and also, well, that's like in Norway, probably minus 10, and the coastal part of Norway will be equivalent to his minus 30.
I got a really good idea. Export some cashmere underwear
To Norway.
to Norway.
Cashmere Long Johns.
Long
Long Johns.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, winters, except now we have less pollution. I think I think people, that's serious actually. The pollution is the main thing. I will more worry about how you're gonna handle pollution, and then especially if you are spending lots of time outdoor, it's much better now.
And that's what I've been like telling people. The pollution is getting less and less year by year. With all the projects they're doing in the districts to keep like the coal burning.
You guys been here for like more than 10 years. You guys remember how like you can't even see your front car when you're in the cab?
I mean,
You could have smelled from the clothes.
Was the case in 2012-13? You pack your stuff, you go to open your suitcase wherever you go, and smells UV fragrance.
No, it was like, imagine I had a function to host, and then like I would like rather carry it in a bag and then change it there, or else like I would smell a smoke on the stage. It was really terrible days, and then all cold.
But now it's better. It can be even better, but again, it takes time. It's infrastructure and so on. So
So what do you think about the green energy here?
The green energy, I mean, how you define the green energy? Yeah,
Well,
what's
like-
green?
like-
I know. It's because it's a little bit...
To develop in Mongolia, what do you think?
I think...
Other than like gas and oil.
No, I mean, you can use green energy.
Like
It's
wind
easy
farms
to
and stuff,
yes, it's easy to talk, but you need sustainability, especially for industrial, the projects. So it requires much more technology, and it's a transition. You have to do it step by step. Overnight, I think people, even Europe failed in that sense. And then. So it can happen right away, and then if you're going to develop the solar, and then probably you need to, extremely big areas and for the solar panels, and then
Which we have.
Yes, but at the same time, also the resources required to build the solar panels, it's a different story. This is, you still need to have these things to be produced from maybe some other part of the country. It's being mined, and then all the cables and this. So that's why I say how you define the green energy. The wind power, but it has to be transitional, step by step.
Mongolia has now, is it 2 wind farms and a couple of
Yes.
solar plants, right?
I think it's also, I think Mongolia herders were one of the first ones to pioneer the green energy with their
With
solar
solar
panels.
panels.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
I mean, even I saw while I visited South Gobi near Flaming Cliffs, and then I went there. One of the that time it was a small gear camp. I mean, he had wind power. Yeah, I mean, Gobi, best place. I mean, for him it was okay. You know, he was generating electricity from his little wind power. You know,
You can
So-
power off the fridge and it is.
yeah. That's but if you are gonna the very large scale project, can you imagine the OT or other TT, and then so you need much more than.
Which these equipments are not cheap.
No, I mean, for the developed industrial countries, it's always so easy to say, implement the green energy. Yes. Yeah. But, this thing,
But for
resources.
emerging market, it's a
Yeah.
bit
And
different.
then.
So what do you think? Which one is cheaper? Exploring the oil and gas and constructing these factories and industries, or like shifting into transiting into green energy. Which
no.
one is faster and easier?
There
Cost-wise.
is nothing. We will need fossil fuels for quite some time until the
Next 50 years, probably.
yes, I will say 30 to 50 years until the technology develops. It comes to the level that it can be you need transitional time, and that's why the misconception is everything is gonna be green.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. You wanna for the electrical cars, the batteries, and so on. You still need somebody
mining.
digging the mines and then
Minerals.
and then putting onto the truck. We were running with the diesel, going somewhere. We have to be
Processing
realistic.
it, you still need
Yeah.
diesel, electricity, and all
Yes,
these
yeah.
things. Yeah.
What we have to be realistic. I think if you give the wrong expectations to people, everyone thought that's what happened last year during the 2 years also in Europe. Look, UK. Can you look at your electricity bill in UK?
It's
Yeah.
doubling. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I switched from paying monthly to paying with the key, just because you go and even if the electricity is not on, you rack up a really big bill.
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Yeah, it's just the way it's set up that way.
No, also because there were shortages
The
of
shortages in,
electricity and then energy crisis.
The Ukraine, Russia
Ukraine crisis. It affected the gas flow. In UK, everything depends on the gas, and then when the gas shortage, and then it affects the individuals, and then. In Germany, even they started to open their coal mines. But the coal mines were dirty. I mean, that wasn't. And then, but suddenly when the crisis hit, they started to
Reopened
go
again.
back to the... so you have to be
And,
prepared.
also
you
now in France, because of the stuff that's happening in sub-Saharan Africa, the Sahel,
Yes.
they are very worried about their uranium enriched power plants.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that's becoming a very big issue, I think.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, again, everything is energy, and so if you are also the oil and gas company, you have to look into the sustainability. You have to invest how you're gonna make the transition. And some of the companies are good at it, but some countries, developing countries, still need that energy to supply to the infrastructure. And so this is a little bit the reality in Mongolia. I mean, if the diesel doesn't come to Mongolia, the trucks are not going to operate.
Central heating.
The central heating is going to stop. And if your electricity grid fails, whatever the reason, coal is not transported to the power plants, whatever the reason, it's going to fail. We have to be realistic. So, of course, everyone wants to do it. But transition, it's not going to happen overnight.
Immediately, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Mongolia have the wind, yes, the solar, but there are many other factors goes how it can be used at the industrial scale. Yeah.
From one perspective, I think that the transition to electric cars. Well, it's the feeling, and I will use the word I feel, not I know for sure. But I feel like Mongolia can transition to electric cars quite faster than the rest of Europe if they plan it right. And because electricity on all the major motorways, they have electricity is there.
Yes.
And then having just charging stations.
Power lines are there.
Yeah, charging stations, and China's next door. They can import cars very cheaply.
Yeah, it's already here.
I don't want to
So
be
many-
controversial, but what do you think about that?
No, I mean it can happen, but again, it has to be sustainable. I mean.
When I say faster, it's just because
yeah.
there's 3 million people here,
Yes.
and
Because of the population.
the population.
It should be faster.
It will move much faster. Because in the UK, they're gonna ban petrol cars, or about in 2020 in 2035 apparently. They're still talking about it, but like banning outright, fossil fuel cars, like they say.
Yeah, and then cutting out all like diesel and petrol, whatever, right, and turning into an electric car. And again, we go back to the power supply, which is done by coal again,
Yeah.
and everything will be coming back.
Yes. I mean, there's a reality there. We always want to have the proper transition to, again, I say transition with the right expectation. Yeah. And you don't want to, one of the problems with the electrical cars, the batteries,
Yeah.
how you're going to dispose the batteries.
Yeah, that's one big issue, actually. You need to have a recycling plant built first.
There you
right?
go.
Yeah.
So I mean, you gotta plan it. You have to have the resources. You have to have the financial means to do it.
Yeah,
you know.
definitely.
And Mongolia, again, resource-rich country. Hopefully, they will utilize all this, and then it will go into the right direction.
Can I ask you, as a geologist and knowing about Mongolia's geology, so we kind of figured out Mongolia has copper, it has coal, it has oil and gas, it has
Gold.
gold and iron ore. What other things?
Oh, Mongolia, any, let's say the mineral, you can imagine, it's in Mongolia. Geology bless Mongolia. Yeah. I mean, you between the same area, you
So
may be
mashallah.
exploring. Yeah. I mean, the geology bless Mongolia. And then you may be in one area, you may be looking for coal, you may find copper, you may find gold, multi-resource, because of the geology, thanks to the a little bit complex, but that's the complexity it creates. Everything from the rare earth elements to the copper, the cobalt, the zinc, but still some of them are still in the exploration phase, because it requires, also, the putting the processing plants in certain, and it requires to go to the raw material is there, but the investment should come to Mongolia to take to the next stage. I mean, what Mongolia is doing now, most of the time, you export to
China,
to raw material, as the mines. Whereas
Not produced materials,
the real value is when you process. For example, you produce concentrates, from ore to concentrate. I think once Mongolia does this, and then so it will benefit the country in a the much better way, actually. Yeah.
So I mean,
So-
I know, like there's lithium, for example, in
Yeah.
Mongolia. That's
I was about to ask that.
Yeah,
Same thing,
lithium.
yeah.
Everyone is looking for
Yeah.
lithium.
Yeah, everyone's like, like that. Because of these electric cars. Right?
Yeah. But I mean, yes, lithium is still in the early exploration phase, and yes,
It is
you
there.
do have lithium in Mongolia. Yes, you see the geological evidence. You see, but to develop it to the commercial scale, so it will take probably more effort, more investment, a little bit better understanding of the geology. So yes, it's there. Yeah. So
So how easy or hard is it like to kind of bring investment to Mongolia? Because that's something
yeah.
that we actually Mongolia needs.
Needs,
Yes.
exactly.
I mean, a couple of years ago, the foreign investment was, almost leveled down significantly. The different reasons. I think the investors look at it has to be a win-win situation. You have to convince your investors when they are going to tie the money, there will be a return. Also, at I would say it can be challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put it this way. It can be challenging. There are different reasons for this. And Mongolia still is not known, still in terms of the, sometimes, of course, everyone knows Genghis Khan. Yeah,
not about the
everyone
country.
knows. But as a country, and then sometimes you give a presentation, you have to make sure people will understand where Mongolia is on the map, and also the geopolitical stability is very important, and then unfortunately, I mean, this is not politics, but whenever the election comes, and then things stop basically, and then for the investors, they say, okay, I mean, if the election is coming now, maybe
Later on.
Let's wait until the
well,
election.
it's not only Mongolia, but it can be in quite a few other countries. So these are the factors, and then can play a role, and then it can be challenging, but there are investors willing to take the risk. It's a calculated risk, and then if the rules and regulations, everything is established, there is a stability, and then investors will come. I mean,
So do you think, like, for example, like right now the challenge is to kind of stabilize all of these laws and regulations?
Yeah, that's very important. I mean, because when the rules and regulations are established, and then there is not much room for misinterpretation on both sides. I'm not saying to the investors or the government. It makes life easier for both of them actually. So no, I mean, the resource-rich countries go through this. Norway went through this. Many other countries went through this. I mean, you may have big resources here, but if the investment risk is high, people invest into the other countries. Maybe it's more stable in terms of their investment. And again, it has to be a win-win situation. So
let's say, for example, I'll ask you this example. If someone has a license or some kind of mineral license and so on, and they're looking to get some foreign investment, what advice would you give them for the steps to take?
Oh no! First of all, I mean, all the regulatory, fiscal, everything should be in place. I mean, the permits and everything, and they gotta understand the geology very well. I mean, if you cannot show the geologically that you have something there, it doesn't help. Or you can say, oh, I got here, I don't know, 1,000 tons of gold or something. You have to do proper technical work.
Yeah.
And then...
Because it takes quite a bit to change it from an exploration license
Oh,
to a
yes.
license.
There are rules and regulations were established in Mongolia. But the first of all, solid, the technical work, understand, and the economics.
Yeah.
And then you have to show to the investors there's economics here. And then you have to do... and then if economics is not there, they're not going to come.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But then as a mine owner or the license owner, you have to always think also to the business side.
Yeah.
I mean, having the rocks, beautiful, but commercial going to the next level, it's something else. And then this has to be, and also, you have to make sure you have all the the legitimate paperwork, everything is in place. This is very important.
I guess sometimes things in emerging markets, sometimes people, so you need to make sure that you show that ownership, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay, enough with the.
Okay.
so we covered a lot. Actually,
I think the past two, recent two questions were for himself, because I know what he's doing. He's asking for himself.
Actually, there's another question I wanted
This
to
would
ask
this would be
but yeah.
Ridvan would never tell him, and he would use the podcast to ask these questions. I know you.
But actually, these are really important questions for people out
Exactly.
there. Like, for example, starting a company. A lot of people don't know that you need 100K USD.
Oh, as a foreign investor.
Per investor. So if you're
Yeah.
two of you, you need 200K to start one company. If there's one, it's 100.
Yeah, it's actually it's not something undoable, but such rules don't exist in if the countries are trying to bring the incentives. The country should have provide the incentives, and then that's a little bit special here. But I heard they were gonna change it actually. So there was a law passing. Like in UK, establishing a company is very easy.
It takes a day.
A day,
couple of hours.
yes.
Oh, really?
And you don't need to be even, you
By yourself.
No, I mean you don't need to even to be a resident. You know.
Oh,
And,
really?
Yes, there are certain rules, and I think it just costs, I don't know how much, maybe just registering company maybe £500 or something.
Oh no, that's too much.
I thought he was saying that's a little bit cheap. So too much.
No, the actual registration costs about £30, and then you need kind of an address and all these things. So if you're using this, then the due process where they send you the stuff and all that. So about £70 max.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, how easy it is to get a let's say a bank account in UK, a foreign person.
A foreign person to actually establish an online bank is not that difficult because you don't need a UK address. But to have a proper bank, whereas you need to have a resident visa or some kind of visa that can give you a UK address and you'll have a physical. But nowadays online banking is kind of easy, and as long as you establish a company and you can prove who you are and things like that, you can have
As an
an
individual, not as a company.
as an individual or a company.
To get a UK account, right? Bank account.
I mean, you can't do, as Ihab is saying, physical bank account. It's almost impossible unless you're resident there. So I live in London also, and but I think online accounts is becoming very popular everywhere.
easier,
Actually, everywhere. So, with certain limitations.
Yeah.
Because so.
Good.
Okay, so we're coming to an end of our podcast.
Oh, time flew.
Yeah,
That's right.
we have spoken for 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's good.
It was an amazing talk. And then,
But we did forget to ask him.
yeah,
You
I'm
gonna
about
ask
to
him?
ask him.
I'll
Yes.
let you ask him.
So we have a question that, you're an outdoor person. Like you're always out there, like seeing people, like cycling, doing food parties and stuff. You surely had a really funny moment. The laugh out loud moment. Please share with us if it's okay for you, of course.
Laugh out. Okay.
Or I would say
So
your
we know
craziest
about the
experience.
craziest experience.
Phrases.
We know about your cashmere underwear now.
Yeah, cashmere underwear. Yeah, the craziest moment. Are we talking about Mongolia?
Yeah, in Mongolia.
In Mongolia, yeah. Okay, I mean when I got invited to Gear during one of the the bike trips, yeah. And we are staying around. This was one of my first weeks in Mongolia, and then this the gentleman, the herder, came, and then we are all sitting around, and then he had this bowl of vodka in his hand.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm looking at, and then he's looking at me, and then my Mongolian friends, they are just talking to each other. Oh, this was full. And then he passed to me. I said, I suppose I should drink everything now. This was the silver bowl. I chucked everything. He's looking at me. What did you do? I said, yeah. I thought if I don't drink, I can't drink vodka, it's not my drink. He says, you're not supposed to drink the whole thing. I say, well, I mean, I thought if I don't drink it, that's not the disrespect. They said, no, I mean, you don't need to drink, you can bless it.
You took the whole ball.
That was, for me, it was... Again, but I learned it. Yeah. So
do you have any word, like what's the question you asked me?
Oh yes. Tell me your favorite Mongolian word.
Sameno.
Oh, that's too typical. No, give me something.
No.
else.
I read I'm riding the bikes, and I use this word a lot.
No, I didn't.
Ushtara. I mean, it's.
Like Greg's favorite word was hot. Imagine,
You need to explain what hot means.
Well, it's basically it's like in English it turns really bad. That's it.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's not really a bad word. It's like kind of like shut up kind of a thing.
okay.
But it
I tell you which one
like
is mine.
a humorous sense.
Talk toy.
Talk toy.
After this episode with the
With the
vodka, yeah.
Stuff.
On this one there's a lot of funny moments. Trust me. Lot of-
So I
Alright.
wanted to actually ask, what are your favorite spots in UB, especially the secret ones?
Oh,
Or
secret
maybe
ones.
not the two secret ones. Those ones you can say them off camera to me. So.
All right, okay.
Probably you're with him anyways.
Yeah, I mean the places food is in is very dynamic in UB now. You have different establishments coming, and unfortunately some of them going very fast.
Yeah.
These days lots of Italian places opening up. Actually,
Yeah.
I mean they are all good, but I tell you, one of my most favorite places, I like pizza. Yeah, at the, I don't know, you guys been at the Olympics and the third floor? There's this pizza oven. It's proper
that's-
Italian pizza oven.
Outside. On
One with a
Outside.
little bit terrace.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this is inside. I mean, they have a pizza chef. I mean, she is amazing. I mean, the pizza is there. It's partly wood burn and the gas. I mean, I will say it's one of the best places. I really enjoy going there. I mean, the chef is, you know, she knows exact. She doesn't speak much English, but then you communicate the, you know, the foodie language. I mean, it's amazing spot. I mean, for me, it's a place. And if you want to have wine, you can get the wine from the other venue. You sit there, and then you enjoy. I mean, such places. You know, you always have big restaurants coming and going, and then, and also our Perry and Friends place. I mean,
Miguel.
Miguel's place. You know, I mean, it's so feel home. You know, you walk in, and then the vibe, and then the food, because he's there. You know, and then this is actually it's a nice spot. You know. And I mean, you can list places, but for me, as a foodie, such places are the places you go, you know.
And what about some places to vibe out just for a couple of drinks and stuff?
Oh, a couple of drinks.
I don't want to ask who you go with, but
No, I mean, I like Bitsi. Yeah, Bitsi is very nice spot to go, and then. By the way, they changed their cocktail menu now, and so it's very good vibe, and then the very you know, the progressive place, you know, and so that's also a nice spot. Also,
Their bartender became the champion.
yeah, she got the Nora. She
I
got
was hosting that event.
Oh, you
Yes,
were? Yes.
well, you know, you guys might not know this, but you know, I gave her first job
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh, very
Where?
cool.
in Alibaba.
In Alibaba. Oh, really?
Yeah. So she got trained there.
Oh, yeah, seriously, yeah. I mean, you have so many, you know, there are also hidden corners in UB.
These are the ones I want to find out about, because you know where the hidden corners are.
Yeah, he knows, right? He's an explorer in business. He's an explorer in life.
Yeah, exactly. So I will take you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are going to be off camera. I'll just come and report how good they are. Yeah.
All right,
Very
so
nice.
this is we're on the end of our show, and then we will leave the last moment to you. If there's anything you would like to say to our viewers, and if there's a quote that you would like to share with us to motivate our viewers, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you to gentlemen giving this opportunity. I really had good time, actually. Yeah. So this is very good, and well, thank you very much. And I think my message to your viewers: life is how you're gonna make it. Yeah. And when you're in Mongolia, it doesn't matter also whether you're Mongolian or you're foreigner. You gotta make best out of it. You have to appreciate your friends and then enjoy the moment. Whether it's minus 40 degrees, it's whatever it is. Enjoy the moment. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Beautiful. And thank you for accepting our invitation and being on our podcast,
I think
episode 5.
I think this podcast was very informative,
Yes,
business-wise, for me. I asked all the,
like
all the questions I want to know about business. I asked them.
He's gonna, like, you know, like later on he would like listen to the podcast and write it down.
Exactly.
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen. Bayatla.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. As always, like for our 33 subscribers, I think.
But we have a lot more.
We're
views
growing,
now.
lot more
Very
views.
nice.
We're growing. But thank you for being with us. And then, like, please subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell button. It won't cost you anything, but it helps a lot to us. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.